Okay, so this is the first episode of my Lightroom tutorial editing for Instagram. Okay, so firstly, you need to be shooting in RAW format. Why RAW format and not JPEG? Because RAW holds more data and you can actually tweak more stuff on RAW than you can actually edit on JPEG. Because JPEG is already processed by your camera when you take the photos. So you want to be editing the raw files. Yeah. Okay, one more thing I noticed that some people who shoot raw, they tend to not upload the raw files to Lightroom when they edit. So they actually, after shooting raw, they actually upload it as JPEG, which defeats the purpose of using raw at all. So how you want to upload it, import it as raw is by clicking file, click import photos and videos. Once that is done, your computer should detect that you have a memory card on your computer. So right now I have my SD card here. So all this will come out. Make sure you are not copying it as DNG, because DNG is Lightroom's version of RAW, which is also a bit compressed, and I rather you just copy it as the raw, the legit RAW format, you know what I'm saying? Okay, one more thing I would click is the don't import suspected duplicates, because if I've already uploaded to my computer, I don't want duplicates. Yeah, so this one thing. I've already uploaded this, so it's not highlighted. So you should click import. For me, it will be cancel. I'll be editing this photo. This is already imported. Make sure you are on the develop module and not library. So because develop module is where all the tools are. Click develop. Once I go to develop, yeah, so firstly I will start off with getting the exposure of the photo right. I'll go to basic, drop down the list. I'll trust Lightroom in getting the exposure, so I'll click auto. Once Lightroom have decided on the exposure levels, I will make the adjustments from here. Let's say right now for this particular photo I want more details on the skies. Highlights in this photo is represented by the sky, the clouds, the bright spots in the photo. Yeah, so to do that, I will lower down highlights, not all the way because they'll be too exaggerated. Maybe around 70 or 80. Yeah, okay, then shadows in this particular photo is, let's say, 60. Okay, I'll trust Lightroom on the whites and blacks. Usually they make quite good judgments, but for this part maybe I'll cover in the upcoming videos. Okay, for landscapes I usually clarity I will bump it up to around 30. Clarity in this sense is actually how you want the photos, how street or how gritty you want the photos to look. So like if you see, if you pull it up all the way to 100, the photo looks very grungy, very gritty. I mean, some people like this look, but I've gone past that. So now I usually just go to around 30. I like my photos now to have a little bit more color, so I'll make it saturated around 5 or 10. In this case, I'll probably go to around 10. Of the we'll bump it up around 10. Yeah, so now you're starting to see how different already it looks from the original picture. Okay, the next thing I do is I'll do some lens correction. So I'll remove chromatic aberration, I'll enable profile corrections. Lightroom will detect. Some lenses can be detected by Lightroom, so it depends. As you can see what it did to the photo after I enable this. It becomes more flat and not so round looking before. This is before. Observe the edges. Once I click, it flattens out, which is nicer. There's no distortion. It fixes the distortion. Okay, one more underrated tool that people don't usually pay attention to is the camera calibration. Is the last tool on this panel. Click camera calibration. The one thing you should change is actually here. Right now is on default is Adobe standard. This is Adobe's how they kind of research and they find like the closest colors to your camera module, but it cannot be, it just doesn't get the exact colors of the camera. So what I like to change is I like to change it to camera standard, which will follow the colors of my camera. You see how this changed right now? Before Adobe standard, it's a bit more purplish, but if it's following my camera, which is the Sony camera, it'll go more to the greenish tint. Yeah, not too purplish. Okay, so you should actually change this first. Then I'll make some adjustments to the hues. Usually blues, you can see the skies are turning already because I changed the blue hues to -30. The oranges will also change. Then I'll make it neutral a bit by changing the other two hues. So greens I'll go to 40, reds I'll go to around 20. Yeah, if you want the colors to pop out even more, right? So all you need to do is just bump up the saturation for every individual hue. Yeah, so okay. Now I haven't touched the white balance. So this white balance, I'll usually click auto first. Let Lightroom decide the tint. The tint is how purplish or greenish you want the photos to look. Then I don't like it to be too blue, so I'll double click on the temperature to make it go back to the original setting. Yeah, something like that. Okay, right now I feel like the photo is a bit too saturated. Sorry guys. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, so now tone curves. Tone curves is how like you see on some Instagrammers, they have that faded kind of look on the photos. That is done through tone curves. So on this side of the curve, it's the shadows. On this edge is the highlights. So what you want to do is actually bring up the shadows. So you click on the last circle point you see on the edge here, click, drag it up. Then you see how it's become a bit more faded. I mean, as you go up further, it will be more faded. So depending on how faded you want your photos to be, so that yeah, you just so as for this is like I said earlier, is the bright spots in the photo, right? So like say this like so-called beam of light over here, I don't want it to be too harsh, so I'll bring it down the highlights over here. So you actually go down and you see it's a bit off white. It's not harsh white now. Yeah, so this is how you play around with the tone curves. But of course I've already made my own, have my set of tone curves. I've already saved it, so I have a flat, let's say flat, light, faded, I have medium. Yeah, this looks good. So basically what it is, I make it slope all the way down and I just make it flat towards the end. This is where the shadows fade. Yeah. So of course those who think it is too complicated, you can just purchase my preset pack and tone curve. Yeah, so this is almost it. Last thing I usually do is sharpening. Under detail, I'll make it go to 80. Amount of sharpening will be 80 because on Instagram they're gonna compress, and so I like Instagram photos to be a bit more sharper. Masking, I'll make it go 50. Masking, there's a trick. If you click you on your keyboard, you type alternate, just hold down alternate and click on masking. This will pop out. So depending on how much detail or where you want the photo to focus at, right? So you move the slider until, let's say I just want to focus on the cranes. I'll move it all the way to around 80. This is a lap, so 50 is usually the best. I've tested it, so it's around 50. Luminance, this noise function is luminance will actually make the photos smoother. So I usually bump it up to 20, so it looks a bit more smooth now. Yeah, this was shot at 400 ISO 400, so there's gonna be a bit of noise. Yeah, so this smoothens it out. That's done for detail. Um, yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I'm not gonna cover split toning or any other tools right now because I'm gonna make you wait for the next tutorial. So I'm gonna show you the before and after later. Okay, one last thing is how you export. Once you are done editing, you click File, Export. So one thing you need to change is under image sizing, right? I'll usually resize it to 1080 pixels. I'll change the pixels per inch to 300 dpi. dpi being dots per inch. Why 1080? Because Instagram's highest resolution is 1080. So if you upload anything higher than that, they will compress it. So you might as well just upload it to the highest. I will also be including a few, I think just one article, image qualities that may drive more likes on Instagram. So there's things like how brighter images get more likes, how bluish images gets more likes. Yeah, so I'll let you guys read on that. And let's go back to Lightroom. 108 pixels. Yeah, you can use this short edge. 300 dpi. Yeah, after I export it, then I will upload it to Google Drive. Then I have Google Drive app installed on my phone. That's why I will download the photo to my phone, then upload it directly. Yep, that's it. So tune in for the second. Oh wait, for those of you who actually stayed all the way till here, if it's you're wondering if you want to get the tone curves, I've actually uploaded it on youngiscliss.com. Presets, click here. You can, so basically what you get by from this is you get 3 presets with 3 tone curves, being the light, medium and heavy, which I showed you just now. Yeah, so if you're too lazy to go through this tutorial, just get the presets from me then. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.